Okay, welcome back. This is a ongoing series of videos for the over-the-wire Bandit challenges. We are on Bandit level 2. I've already logged in here, but what have we got pasted? Hopefully that's the password for the last video. So let's connect again. Bandit 2, cool. So we're connected to Bandit 2. There's the password. Control Shift C and V, guys, to copy and paste. Alright, let's clear the welcome message. Check that we're in the right directory as usual. So we're logged in as Bandit 2. We are in the Bandit 2 directory. All is well in the world. Okay, so now we can read our brief. So the goal of the level is to find the password. It's located in a file called spaces in this file name in the home directory. These are the commands that we might need, and there's a little article on why this is a problem. I'd suggest that you read all of these. However, since you're here, I assume you have, and you're looking for the solution. So, first let's take a look to see what's in here. Okay, so we see that spaces in this file name is what we get when we use the command ls. Now, let's assume that we didn't have this brief for a second and we use the ls command. This is how ls would usually display files to us if there were more than one file in the directory. So what I'm saying is, if we didn't have this brief, how would we know that spaces wasn't one file, in wasn't one file, this wasn't one file, and file name wasn't one file? Other than the fact that it's like a very weird naming pattern, that it would make sense if it was all one file together. It's pretty weak assumption. I mean, we could do something like this. We could use the file command for spaces, and because there's no such file or directory, we know that spaces isn't a file. But it might not be split down into word by word, so it might be spaces in as one file, or it could be spaces space I, and you know it could be broken down in a very odd in a very odd way. So one way that we can tell exactly how many files we have in a directory is using the ls-1 flag. So don't be confused, that is not another L, a lowercase l, that is the number 1. Cool. Now if there were multiple files in this directory, they would be printed one below the other, but they are all printed horizontally, so we can confirm that is one file. Okay, so surely you've all tried this by now. You've all gone, right, I know that I just need to read the contents of that file, so I'm going to use concatenate, and I'm going to spaces in this file name. Amazing. Oh, no, okay, so it's all ruined. The spaces are what's causing us problems. So if we look at the manual for concatenate, we can see that it takes an option and a file, and then it would take more files, for example. But with most commands in the shell, in the command line, arguments are separated by spaces. Spaces are what's known as a special character. They indicate that something special is occurring. For example, the and character or the star character, they all indicate special actions. So our shell is interpreting this command as 4 separate arguments. So it's looking for argument 1 as spaces, argument 2 as in, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do is find a way to tell the shell that those spaces are not spaces. In fact, they should all be considered preserved. They should all be ignored as special characters and taken literally. One way we can do that is with the backslash escape. So spaces in this file name using the backslash escape. So spaces, that's all fine. There's no special characters contained here. Now we use the backslash to indicate that whatever is following this backslash should be considered literally and not as a special character. So now we can put our space. And when the shell comes to interpret that, it'll say, okay, spaces is in the position of our first argument. Oh, we've got this backslash, which means that the space should be considered literally and not as a special argument, which means that I can consider it a regular character of the alphabet instead of a command that another argument is coming. Okay, so now we can say in. no special arguments there, but we've got another space on the way. So let's escape that space using the backslash. Amazing. Now that's a literal space and not a special space. This and backslash. And then there are no more special characters coming, so we can continue our argument here. Okay, so one last time, we know that concatenate takes an argument and it differentiates its arguments with spaces, so we've used the backslash to nullify those spaces as special characters and instead told the shell to interpret them literally. There's our password. Amazing. Solution number 2 is to preserve the spaces. So in this solution above, we've escaped the spaces. Now let's preserve the spaces. So we can do that by using quotation marks. Here we are telling the shell interpreter that we are opening quotes here, and whatever is contained within them should be considered a single argument and preserved as such until you get to the end quotation where we close them, and at that point there's no more instructions, so there's nothing more to interpret. So this by the shell is considered one argument, and there's our password. Remember to Control-Shift-C to copy and Control-Shift-V to paste. And let's exit this connection and sever the connection to the SSH server. Sever the connection. And we're back to our home terminal. Make sure that we've got that pasted. Yeah, amazing. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. That was our tutorial for Bandit Level 2.